Hey, hi, hello, my lovely people. This is the really impromptu video because things that people sent to me is really one thing, and I couldn't wait. I just couldn't wait. I was in the mood. And so we're here. You see the thumbnail because what the fuck? I mean, I use that to describe most things in life, but this, wow. So obviously you saw the thumbnail and maybe you were like, are we here to throw shade at this book with this beautiful black woman on the cover? That's called Bad and Bougie Toward a Trap Feminist Theology? How dare you, Jessica? Well, the author, Jennifer M. Buck, is not the same shade, not the same hue, doesn't have as much melanin as the beautiful person on the cover. Jennifer is giving beige, is giving 8.5 by 11, is giving chalk, blank, white. She's white. She's a white woman. And she wrote a book called Bad and Bougie Toward a Trap Feminist Theology. Now, if you clicked on this video and now you know and you don't care anymore, because I did download a sample from Kindle, so I'm gonna read you some of it. But if you were gonna click off this video, please do me a favor before you leave, and if you want a book about trap feminism, read Bad Fat Black Girl, Notes from a Trap Feminist by Cecily Bowen, who is a black woman, and it's amazing. And you really should get the audio and treat yourself. So just want to mention that before if you were gonna click off this video. But if you were gonna stay for reading, a dramatic reading, okay? I hope I treat you. I hope this gives you a good hee-haw this evening. I don't know. But just, when I look at the cover of this book, I initially think it's supposed to be written by a black person, at the very least. Especially, usually, a woman or a femme, because it's about feminism. But at least a black person. Why are you using this cover? It's giving entrapment. In the acknowledgement, she talks about the people who helped with the research, the school and stuff, and where this was presented. And then she gets into the introduction. Our introduction starts off with a quote. It's from Rico Nasty. The quote is, "I'm a poppin' ass bitch, let me remind ya. Don't hide, I can always come and find ya. Ain't no bitch in me, bitch. Come proper." Rico Nasty, poppin'. So Jennifer starts with, "This work seeks to engage with the overlap of Black experience, queer ethics, and feminism to focus on a subsection known as trap feminism and construct a trap feminist theology, interacting with concepts of moral agency, resistance, and imagination. Trap feminist theology seeks to build an intersectional theology, emphasizing women's agency in their bodies and sexuality, while also remaining faithful to the trap context from which they are socially located. Such a project will redefine the trap context from one of the marginalization to one of joy and flourishing within Black feminist theology. This theology overlaps with Black queer ethics and subversive empowerment that forms a new normative ethic within a subset of the Black community." Before addressing this topic, I want to say a word about identity politics. I am a straight, privileged white woman, and I am aware that I have not lived the embodied experiences of a trap queen. However, I strongly believe that feminism is for everybody. Feminism is intersectional, or it is garbage. And to quote Audre Lorde, "I am not free while any woman is unfree, even when her shackles are very different from my own." As Reverend Dr. Kelly Brown Douglas reminded us while speaking about liberating spaces, all of us in positions of privilege are to be repenting of our context. As will be explored in this book, White Western normality has been constructed on the backs of Black deviants, and that sin must be countered and repented of so that all may flourish. My love and appreciation for hip-hop music and the trap subgenre has been cultivated over years, starting with one of my earliest jobs as a hip-hop dance teacher in my teens.
Hey, I'm Dina. Look at my feet. My feet are straight ahead. You don't want to do that. You want to turn your feet out. I'm going to do this backwards. And that's what makes it look like hip-hop.
Into adulthood and through my scholarship, I have come to better understand the depths and complexity of this genre of music and the lives and systems behind it. This work involved conversations with some who are in the life, as well as reflections from hip-hop music in academic voices from race and hip-hop studies, Black and womanist theology and sociology. My research team and myself built relationships with women who work in the trap context across multiple geographic locations and came to better understand their stories from the inside, an attempt to decenter my own voice and elevate their narratives. Ah, man, it is so odd because she talks about she was a hip-hop dance teacher, and I know that there are a lot of people outside of Black people that enjoy hip-hop, like the entire culture, enjoy music. A lot of things are inspired by that, but why would you think why would you look in the mirror, Jenna Fair, and be like, yes, I am the one to write. I should write this. I should write about trap feminism. Not even just feminism. Not just Black feminism. Trap feminism. Jennifer felt a calling to talk about it. So she goes on to talk about women in trap music, how they're not related to their sexuality or limited to their sexuality in relation to men. Talks about referencing women like Cardi B, Nicki Minaj, Kamaya, Rico Nasty. Talks about male trap artists like Migos and Fetty Wap. Lots of use of the word trap. It's very funny. Most of the times not in quotes, but sometimes in quotes. Like, some of these artists may not consider themselves trap specifically, but admittedly the powerful influence of trap music has begun to blur the line between trap and hip-hop in recent years. For me, the process of wanting to engage this topic came first out of a love of trap music. Out of a love for trap music, but grew into a deeper desire to understand this community and what the songs I love singing. But you know, I don't say the N-word. And therefore the lives I instrumentalize for my own musical enjoyment are really about. Wow, Jennifer. While I agree with this part, if my feminist theology is not actively seeking to better understand spaces different than my own, then it fails to represent the fullness of feminist theology. Yes. Yes. And you can explore that, and you can read other texts by actual Black women and femmes about topics like this. I still do not think you are the person to write about it. Like, obviously this is a sample, this is the introduction. So I don't know if this is written as an attempt to explain her journey in understanding more feminism outside of a white lens, or if this is written as like an explainer. Because that would be very, very confusing. So saying the book is going to be, the nature of the study will involve work with Black ethics and trap music lyrics. I believe the process of engaging a community being willing to listen, learn, and study is a way of giving dignity. It is a way of saying this community is worthy of being seen rather than being overlooked. And the aspects of the community we catch glimpses of through song lyrics are often only a small part of the greater story of these neighborhoods and these women's lives. By telling stories, we engage the personal and introduce the capacity we have within ourselves to grow beyond our boundaries. When we tell stories, we counter the violence of abstraction. I believe that engaging this process of reflexivity has continued to transform my own theology, and it has the ability to do that for so many others within the church. Also, she's like a Quaker minister? I didn't know Quakers still existed. I thought that was like But apparently she is that. So I guess she's also looking at this through a lens from the Quaker Church, which is even stranger. You know, I guess she's previously talked about faith and feminism and Beyonce. So, you know, that tracks. It's very odd. But finally, in the introduction, one final note before diving in. A working definition of trap queen would include a woman who is running her own business, and that business is often, usually, a front to wash money, usually gained through black market businesses. The business behind the trap house is often illegal drugs. One presupposition this work is based on is the need in the U.S. for the decriminalization of drugs, as well as an awareness of the racist drug policies within this nation, all of which will be explored in the following chapters. That's very interesting. She's going to talk about the war on drugs. That being said, how does anyone who is supporting anyone else's drug habit honor God and care about their community? I know that question, or a version of that question, is one of the many readers are asking from the start. I acknowledge that the question deserves a thoughtful answer and one that will be reassessed in the conclusion. This work wants to actively counter and refuse the blackness as victimization trope, while also holding awareness that black life, as it finds itself, often lived near death in its many forms. These women are not victims, nor are they entirely innocent, as is true of each of us. We carry these tensions without romanticizing or judging, because the work of the gospel compels us to love of neighbor. Not the gospel. Her final part in the introduction says, as a non-black woman, my hope is that this can be part of our anti-racist work as allies, and as a Christian, this work is a part of my own salvation and understanding of the true fullness of the gospel. I don't know if Jesus needed you to do this, but okay. The first chapter is called Bad and Bougie, and we've got another excerpt. So this one says, me and Bae, Bonnie Clyde, everything we do, right. Love her vibe, she make me feel so nice. Young Thug, Riri. It's just so strange. She starts chapter 1 with, a trap queen is a woman who is down for the cause. She was born in the ghetto, raised in the ghetto, but she ate that ghetto. Who? Did anyone? Are there beta readers in nonfiction? Who read this? Did anybody read this? She was born in the ghetto, raised in the ghetto, but she ate that ghetto. Oh dear. She talks about trap music and more about trap queens, that they're street smart and book smart, resilient, respectful, resourceful women with a strong sense of confidence in their skills and in their community. The trap queen demands respect as she runs a business, provides for her family, and educates her community. She understands how to operate within this context and is not a misandrist. She pays respect to the men worthy of respect within her community, but always maintains her autonomy. In trap life, females are partners. Ew, females. Running aspects of the business as much as the men, and the trap queen's abilities compel men in the community to use their privilege to make room for their queens in leadership. The trap queen is a bad bitch. And this language moves beyond the physical aesthetic to a woman who resists power relations that would keep her oppressed. To quote Alice Walker, the trap queen has taken seriously the advice to love themselves regardless. It's just giving. Miss Jennifer got $10,000 grant money towards writing this, so that's cool, right? She talks about the origins of trap feminism, and I'm just not going to keep going through this, right? Like this is just an excerpt, but there seems to be, I mean, I don't know how many pages on Kindle. Well, this is just on my phone. It says like 454. But it's just very interesting that she chooses to be, as a white woman, a straight white woman, who also is a Quaker minister. I love that she understands that feminism is intersectional, and feminism is not, it's not feminism if she's just looking at herself and how it affects her and people who are just like her. Great. Love that. Love that she knows she needs to look outside of herself and see all the different ways they cross over with Black and queer women and femmes. Fantastic. But then you're like, well, I know this and this is my journey. I also do love me a Fetty Wap Bop. And I really admire those trap queens because they're bad bitches. And so I'm gonna mash that together and I'm gonna write a book about it. It's very, what's that quote from Jurassic Park? It's like, just because you can doesn't mean you should. And I think a lot of people in both nonfiction and fiction really need to ask themselves that before they write something. Like, just because I can write this, should I? And I think Miss Jennifer did not ask herself that question, and nobody else asked her that question either. Who read through this and was like, yes, girl, absolutely. I'm very confused. So, I mean, of course, you know, I never want to tell you not to read something. So if you choose to read it, and, you know, obviously I only read the introduction in a part of the first chapter and it's deeply enlightening or something, okay? But I would recommend you pick up Bad Fat Black Girl, Notes from a Trap Feminist by Cecily Bowen. That does not have enough ratings on Goodreads. It's kind of ridiculous. It came out last October. It's incredible. Get the audiobook with the physical book, follow along, take notes. That's a Black woman who's experienced these things. She's speaking from experience, her life experience, what she did, what happened when she went to college, all these different experiences of other Black women around her. I would recommend you pick up that one. That's just my recommendation. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, okay. So maybe I'll go listen to some trap music while I cook my dinner. Cause you know, why not? So, anywho's, I know a lot of people on Twitter and TikTok were talking about this and I just had to look it up and oh dear. I mean, if you're gonna write that, which I don't think you should, but if you're gonna write that, just like put, I don't know. Is it blackfishing? Like, why do you put that Black woman on the cover? I don't like it. I don't like it, Jennifer. It's not okay. It does not sit right with me. It does not sit right with my spirit, Jennifer. No. I rebuke it in the name of Jesus. Anyway, tell me your feelings, your thoughts down below. Are you gonna read it? Have you read Bad Fat Black Girl? Because if you haven't, you need to get it. And that's all for me right now. Give this video a thumbs up, subscribe. I'll see you in my next one. Wait, stay blessed, hydrated, moisturized, and sunscreened, and stay in your lane. I'll see you in my next video. Bye. If you want to laugh, go read through this thread. I will link it down below, but it's hilarious. Lots of memes, GIFs. It's great.